Okay, it is 11 a.m., so we're going to get started. Hello, everyone. I'm Beth from CanFitPro Home Office. I am delighted to be here again with Nathalie Plamondon-Thomas. She was with us last week as well for Transform Social Media Fans into Paying Clients, and what a tremendous response we got from that webinar. Everyone wanted to have her back, and we're so grateful that she's here with us today to think yourself a tech pro. So Nathalie is an international #1 best-selling author, and I'm gonna hand it over to her. Before I do that, just remember you can ask questions in the chat or in the Q&A feature. We have chat moderators from CanFitPro who are going to help answer questions, and we have a whole bunch of interactive polls and all sorts of fun things for today. Remember that this is recorded. It's going to be put on YouTube later, and you can also log into your CanFitPro member portal to purchase a CEC quiz for the information today, and that will be available later today. So I'm going to pass it over to Nathalie to get the ball rolling.
All right, welcome everyone. Now I do realize it's a big crowd. Even though I cannot see you, I can feel you. And I know that not everybody knows me. Some of you were here last week, some of you not. I know that I'm not Oprah and I'm not Michelle Obama, and I know that a lot of you have never heard of me. It's your first time on a webinar with me. So let's first we're just going to play a quick video so that I can introduce myself, and then you can know a little bit more about what I do and what I'm all about. So I'm just going to play this quick video for you, and I'll be right back.
It is fascinating how we know exactly what to do, and yet sometimes we do the reverse. We let our negative self-talk rule our life and get stuck in our own limiting beliefs. Nathalie P. is the expert with a proven system to reprogram your brain and get you transformational results. Nathalie P., the founder and CEO of Think Yourself Academy, offering leading-edge courses, online training, and events. She is a co-founder of TYA Education, transforming children's inner language, self-esteem, and perseverance.
All right, guys, this is interesting. I see all your chat in the box saying that the video is not showing properly. So let's do that again. This is cool, right? Think yourself a tech pro, and then the video didn't show properly. So let's do that again, and I'll show you after why that happened. So tell me if you can see it now. Yeah? Oh, and
It is fascinating how we know exactly what to do, and yet sometimes we do the reverse. We let our negative self-talk rule our life and get stuck in our own limiting beliefs. Nathalie P. is the expert with a proven system to reprogram your brain and get you transformational results. Nathalie P., the founder and CEO of Think Yourself Academy, offering leading-edge courses, online training, and events. She is a co-founder of TYA Education, transforming children's inner language to build self-esteem and perseverance. She combines over 10 years of experience in human resources, 25 years of experience in sales, and over 30 years of experience in the fitness industry. In 2007, she was Fitness Instructor of the Year for Canada. She is a dynamic, engaging, and professional speaker, offering conferences, trainings, and keynotes which get you hooked with relatable stories and analogies.
Who wants to use the ring to make money?
Along the past 30 years, she has inspired over 100,000 audience members and empowered thousands of clients internationally. She is on the board of directors of CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. Nathalie P. is a master of neuroscience. She uses specific brain reprogramming processes in her practice as a master life coach and executive coach. She has helped thousands of people in Canada, Europe, the United States, and third world countries to get rid of their negative self-talk and to live to their full potential. She is a #1 international best-selling author of 11 books on wellness and empowerment, including 8 international #1 bestsellers. She is also CEO of Think Yourself Publishing, helping entrepreneurs position themselves as experts with a published book. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Somehow, Nathalie can.
All right, so we're back. Now, sorry for the glitch. Now, this is nothing. You should have seen my very first webinar. So first of all, it was advertised as a webinar, N-E-R. So not because it was a typo, because I actually thought that's how it was called. And I kept calling it a webinar. Welcome to the webinar. In this webinar, thankfully I'm French and people thought it was just my accent. But see, when we started my very first webinar, I was trying to fix the hiding people's images and muting their microphone, and it was taking a lot of time, and we wasted like a full 5 minutes at the beginning for me trying to figure that out, and for 2 reasons. 1, because I had no clue what it was doing, and 2, because I wanted it to take more time for them to think that there was lots of people on the webinar, but honestly there was only 2 people. so I guess my point is, let's start where we're at. So we need to realize that wherever you're at right now is totally fine. And I didn't start my first webinar with 850 people like we had last week on Think Yourself a Business Pro, and today 1,200 people registered. This is not how I started at all. And full disclosure, I am not a tech pro. That's the funniest part of this. I'm an entrepreneur just like you, and I'm trying to run my business, and I'm using technology. So let me take you back when it all started. So I was building my business. I was working really hard. So I was accepting clients from 5 a.m. till 11 p.m. because I needed to work before and after my full-time job, because I was still working full-time, because somehow I had this limiting belief that I wouldn't make it as a professional, like working for myself and make as much money I was making in sales and in the oil industry. And I had heard that we don't make money in the fitness industry. I don't know if you've heard that before, but who started that? Like, why don't we trust ourselves that we can make money living from our passion? So a lot of us are doing the double thing right now. We're working full time and building our business on the side. Well, that was me when it all started. I was working hard and I was doing everything I could. And I was posting on social media. And whenever I would post something, I would have a lot of results. Like, a lot of people would like my stuff. Well, I remember, if we go back to Facebook when we only had personal profile, I remember building my audience. And one day I had arrived. I was like, oh, I had reached 100 follower on Facebook. Like, I had 100 friends. And don't laugh, because at that time I was so excited about my 100 friends. I know it's nothing today, but I thought, okay, now I have 100 followers. Oh my gosh, I'm going to start making some serious money. And I started posting some stuff, posting some ads, work with me, buy my coaching products, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't working. So I thought, okay, maybe I need 200. So I doubled my numbers, and then I reached 500. And one day I had 1,000 friends on Facebook, and it was still not money in my bank account. And then I reached the max. Like, you can get 5,000 friends on your personal page on Facebook. And yet at that time I was still not making money. And I thought, I gotta be doing something wrong. Like, I was thinking, is that it? That's it? The whole entrepreneur thing, that you have zero life balance. You work all the time. I would never spend time with my husband and the kids, and I would never take any time off because I was an entrepreneur. And when you're an entrepreneur, you work 7 days a week, right? You have to work hard when you're an entrepreneur. And I was seeing these people going away for the winter and spending 3 months away. And I'm like, I can't even take a day off, let alone leaving for the whole winter to go somewhere warm. Duh. So that's when I realized I need to figure this out. I need to find, one, a way to reprogram this negative self-talk in my head because this is not serving me to believe all that crap. Two, I need to figure out a way to take these social media fans because I was posting some stuff and I had sometimes 4,500 views on a video, but I didn't know who they were. I didn't know how to connect with them, how to bring them back for me to do a transaction with them. And I needed to become a tech pro. I needed to learn how to use technology because that was only with technology that I would be able to create automation, create leverage so that I could be sitting down by the pool with my husband during the winter and still see transaction coming in and money in my bank account. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're talking about. So when you are an entrepreneur, it's not true that you absolutely need to work hard. You just need to work smart. And last week, we started the process with Think Yourself a Business Pro. We did a webinar, Transform Social Media Fans into Paying Clients. And a lot of you are now doing the online course because after the webinar, you purchased the online course. So I shared with you the most two important things that you need to do to transform these social media fans into paying clients. So that was the webinar. It is available. You can watch the recording for free on CanFitPro's YouTube channel. All the links will be sent after. You can do that. A lot of you are doing the full course right now online that explains the 10 steps. What are the 10 steps to building a successful business? And this is available as well. And then you will see how you get a special discount. So let's launch a poll maybe. If Beth, you could launch poll number 1. The poll number 1 is, were you there on the webinar last week so that I know not to repeat too many things and just has a fun thing to do. So let's launch the poll. Can you see the poll, people? And can you respond? So were you there, yes or no? So Beth, did you? Okay, it seems that a few people are seeing the poll. So if you do see it, just click and respond. And as you continue to do that, we will give you the results later. So if you see the poll, go ahead. If you're not, I cannot control it on my end because I'm a panelist now. We're in CanFitPro's conference room. So Beth has control over that. Now, today, we're doing Think Yourself a Tech Pro. So last week we had an overwhelming amount of questions, which I answered as much as I could at the end with the time that we had. And we had a lot of questions on technology. So that's why we decided to do another webinar on technology. So really how we're all trying to get online right now. So what camera do we use? What kind of equipment? So I have 2 different courses on Think Yourself a Tech Pro. So over a year ago, what I did is I do a lot of business mentorship. So I have spent so much time on YouTube tutorials trying to figure out how to use tech and how to use apps and how to use this. I spent so much money buying apps that didn't work or figuring out stuff that didn't work and hiring people to do stuff for me because I had no idea and to teach me things. And I've done courses that now my clients don't have to, and you won't have to because I've learned all of this and now I can teach you how. And what was happening is in my business mentorship clients that hire me to help them build their business in the accelerated way so that they don't do all the mistakes that it took me 12 years to build my business. And with my clients right now, they can do everything that I've done just in the first year because I have the experience. So that's why people would pay me $250 an hour. But the problem was I was with my clients And they were asking me, how do you put the images behind you? How do you use a green screen? How do you do a text replacement on your phone? And I felt bad that they were paying me all this money for me to teach them something as technical as that. So I decided to record that as online courses. So for a fraction of the price, they could just go and watch the videos, press pause, rewind, and they could learn all the basics. So Think Yourself a Tech Pro is 2 courses. One of them is the basics. So you learn just the first things that you should be knowing about the online world. And the second one is 10 apps to save time in technology. So 10 apps that I use and shortcuts that I'm using in my business that are saving me time. So today we're gonna go with that Think Yourself a Business Pro. Now, let's first talk about what do you need to be online. So all I'm using is my computer. So do you need an expensive camera to do online videos? I just use the computer that's on my camera. If you have another camera that you want to use, you can certainly use that, but you can also just use the camera from your phone or from your iPad. I don't have a different camera, and I can show you my setup. I'll show you my setup after. I'll go behind the scene. Same for my microphone. I don't have a microphone. Right now, I'm just talking into the built-in microphone of my computer, and all my online courses are recorded the same way, all with my built-in online microphone. Sometimes if I am farther back, let's say that I would be recording a fitness video and I want people to still hear me when I'm far from my computer, sometimes I would use my AirPod Pro. So I put my AirPod Pros and they cut a lot of the background noise. The sound is much clearer. Another one that I can recommend is the clip-on. So it's the Smart Mic Plus. I'm looking into it. That would be a good investment. It's a little bit less expensive, except that it's just a microphone. You can't talk on your phone like everything that you can do with the AirPods. If you are working, doing seated stuff, one that is really good is the Blue Yeti. So the Blue Yeti is quite big. It's a big microphone. So the Blue Yeti Nano is a smaller version. So smaller version of the Blue Yeti. And you might want to get a screen with this thing here. It's just a screen so that it cuts the popping when you're talking. If you're doing podcasts, for example, where you really want a very clear sound, that's what I would recommend. Now, as far as quality of image, a very good way to increase your image quality is not necessarily to have a good camera, is to have good lighting, okay? So I use these lamps, so the hot light. So I'm going to show you the difference right now, okay? So I have 2 lamps on each side of my desk. Okay, so I'm going to turn one off, and I'm going to turn the other one off. See the difference? Without my lights. So without my lights, you can hardly see me. Now I'm going to turn them back on. So the lamp looks like this, right? So you've got, and it's very, very bright. And I paid $30 for them. I bought them at Costco. Not that you want to go there right now, unless you want to line up for toilet paper. Now, these lights are probably sold online as well. You don't have to buy these ones. I'm just saying that you need good lighting, okay? So another thing you might want to consider is Zoom. You are on Zoom right now. There was lots of questions, and I will answer the questions at the end. So I will keep a longer period of time for the questions at the end. There was lots of different questions. A few things that you want to know is that Zoom it's a platform where you can invite people to join you. You do not need to have a paid account in order to use Zoom. You could use a free account to host meetings. If you don't have an account at all, you can even join in. So a lot of you are here right now and you don't have a Zoom account. You just have downloaded the app either on your phone or your tablet or your computer. Now, for Zoom, if you do not pay and you have the free account, what happens is you can only have one person with you for up to as many minutes that you want. So for one-on-one, and for the longest time, all I was using Zoom for was to see my one-on-one clients. So for one-on-one clients, I stayed with the free account for the longest time because I would see one person at a time. If you have more than one person, then with the free account, you can only go for 40 minutes, and then the meeting shuts down and then you have to re-log in. There's a lot of fun and cool tools that you can get when you have the paid account as well. There's a lot of things you can do with Zoom. So one, what I do is I record my videos with Zoom. I use this platform because there's lots of fun stuff that you can do. I use Zoom when I speak to my mom, or when we've had so many Zoom meetings. I do have lots of friends in the East, so for me, having a friends meeting and friends virtual coffee on Zoom is not new. A fun thing that you can do with Zoom, and I'll show you, and I told you that I would do that, is I will show you my setup. So I will go here, and now you will see my phone. So can you all see my phone? Tell me when you can see it. Yes, perfect. So now that you can see my phone screen, you can probably see my emails, you can see so if I put it on camera, I can show you my setup. So this is my office, okay? So I've got my laptop in front of me. I've got my other screen behind. I've got my 2 lamps that I showed you. And then let's say that I wanted to show you how I'm set up behind me. You could see how I have one green screen here. I have my other green screen beside it. I could take you with me and then go show you behind the rest of my office. I could show you outside and say, hey, check it out. It's so nice outside. I could show my friend Sarah that I have a picture of her in my office. So this is what you can do with Zoom. There's a lot of fun and cool things that you can do. So we'll start by showing you the when I'm talking about sharing your phone screen. I will teach you how to do that later, by the way. When I'm talking about sharing your phone screen, you could choose to share it to show your Tabata timer, or to show a video. Let's say that you're with a client and then you want to show them a pre-recorded video that you have on your phone, and you just play that from your phone. You could do that. Now let's launch the poll number 2, because polls are things that are pretty cool to do. So let's see if poll number 2 will work. If you want to launch the poll number 2, Beth, that would be great. So let me know if you can see poll number 2. So we're asking you this time if you are wearing clothes or if you're still in your pajama. So some of you might be still wearing clothes. Some people might be wearing PJs. Some people may be half and half, like you wear a nice top at the top, and then at the bottom you have your pajama bottom. So if you can see the poll, you can answer. So it depends on your settings as well. Awesome. This is so cool. So fun. Okay, so I don't know if we can share the results of the poll. So I don't know, Beth, if you can share the results so far. Not everybody might have had a chance to respond, but if we share the results, let me know, Beth, when you've had a chance to share that, so that you would see how many people. So that's kind of cool when you're doing a webinar presentation with clients, and then you want to know, let's say if they've if the weight is too heavy for them, if it's too hard, if it's not. There's a lot of things that you can do with Zoom, like the nonverbal feedback, which is super fun. I'll show you later how to do that. But let's get into the green screen information. So a lot of you have asked me, how do I put the images behind me? So I did show you a little bit behind the scene. So I use both. So you can have like I have behind me right now, you can't see it because I'm using the green screen. I have a web around. So the web around is the one that goes around your chair. The thing is, you need to physically be centering yourself. So if I move my chair right now, see how the circle is moving, right? So that's not enough for me because I like to have lots of space, right? So maybe if you're moving and if you're doing movement, you might want to have a green screen. So you could buy an expensive big green screen, or you can just buy a drape like I did for $12. So I just bought a green drape for $12, and I did happen to have one of those pull-up screen, like a white screen to use with a projector, and I taped it on it. So for a second here, what I'll do is I'll remove my background, and I'll show you after I did that. So right now you can see me sitting in my chair with my web around, and then you can see if I move this back a little bit, and then I stand here, you'll be able to see how I have this set up just on this screen. So I just lift it up, and then all I do is I come back, I turn my chair, and then everything is covered. So when I go back into my settings, and I will show you how, when I go back into my setting, into my green screen, then you can see what I see. So I'll show you how that works. So you go into your Zoom setting. By the way, I'm going fast, and you will be able to press stop, play, rewind, and do that on the recording. So in your Zoom settings, so that's on this little box there. There's two ways to get there. This is the first way. So you go into your settings. This screen will appear. On that screen, you will choose virtual background right there, okay? So on the virtual background, you will get into that screen here. That's the screen I have on my main screen. And what I'm doing is I'm switching from one background to another. So you could choose different things. Like I could choose to put this little video of a beach behind me if I wanted to. I'm gonna be recording my Easter blog this weekend. So you can put whatever you want. By changing into this screen here, you see a little plus button here. So you click on this plus button, and then you pick the images that you want from your computer, then you can upload. So what I did is I did my PowerPoint presentation. I took a print screen or a screenshot of every single one of my slides, which became images, and now I have all the images, and I can scroll through as I please while I'm pressing on these little boxes at the bottom here. So that's how I do it. There's another way to get there. If you look at your screen right now, you all have a band at the bottom where there's your camera, there's your microphone. And right beside the camera, there's a little arrow. If you click on it, you could choose your virtual background. And when you click on that, you will end up onto that screen here. And then you could add the images that you want to use. Now, another thing that you could share is to share your whole screen. And that's what happened today at the beginning. I clicked the wrong thing. So, and I know better. I've been using this for 4 years and I share my screen all the time. What I recommend is that you share strictly what you want to share. And today, instead of when you click on share screen, so on this board at the bottom here, there's a share button. So when you click on share, you get into this screen, and then it asks you to choose what you want to share. The very first one over here is you want to share your whole screen, your whole desktop. And I think that's what I did at the beginning. I'm not sure. I'll have to watch the recording. And instead, I should have shared just the video screen. And I do recommend you do that. You share just the thing you want to share so that people don't see your whole life background behind you, right? So you might have some confidential emails opened on your desktop and you don't want people to see that. So you share just your Excel spreadsheet or you share just your video, okay? Another thing that you can share is your music. So if you are a fitness instructor and you've tried to play music you might know that it's a very, very bad noise that comes out of the speaker, and you need to lift the volume really, really loud in order for, if you put a boom box beside your computer, the volume is never great. It's never working. So what you want to do is you want to share music. So you want to share the sound from your computer. So you would go into your share. So when you click on share here, you would go into advanced. See the second tab here in advanced? And when you get into advanced, you would choose share the music only. So let's say that you are doing a fitness class, you would share the music and people will hear the music through your computer, as opposed to be a boom box of music playing in the computer and getting some background, okay? You can also do it a different way. When you arrive into your share, you could just click that button at the bottom here. So you just check that box, share the computer sound. So you could do it that way as well, okay? Another thing that's really cool is that you could share a whiteboard. So when you click on share, see this whiteboard, that's really cool. So if you want to draw something and use it as a flip chart, for example, so that you could share this whiteboard, then your participant will see a line that will say, Nathalie is sharing her screen right now, and beside it, there will be a little red arrow. Like right now, this is not what it says, but your participants will say that. They will click on this little red, there will be a little down arrow with a menu, and they will click on annotate. And when annotate is checked on their part, they will see this menu bar appearing so that they can also draw with you. So in my business mentorship, I am helping a lot of teachers right now who are hiring me for a speed track course on how they can be good at this stuff. So I was teaching a kindergarten teacher how to share her screen with the whiteboard so that they could all color together or play hangman game. So she was drawing the hangman and then with the letters, and then they could see, give me an A, give me an E, is there an R? And then she would do the hangman game with her student. Another thing that is really cool that you can share is your phone. So this is what I did. So what I did is I clicked on share. Again, it's always that same bar at the bottom. You click on share, you get to this, and then you would click iPad or iPhone through AirPlay, okay? So when you click on that, this menu will come up, and then you will follow this menu, the instructions, and it will ask you to go onto your phone. So see when you have your phone and then you swipe up. So you swipe up like that. So when you swipe up, this appears, right? And then you see over here, it says screen mirroring. Okay, it might ask you to download the app, which would be really quick. So there might be one extra step. So you will click on screen mirroring. And when you click on screen mirroring, then you will see on your phone, it will say what you want to mirror to. So I have Apple TV here, so I could choose to project on my Apple TV, or I could choose to mirror whatever is on my MacBook Pro. And that's what you would choose. You would choose your computer there, and then people will see your computer screen, your telephone screen, just like I was showing you this morning that when I used my phone, you could see what was on my screen. So very often you could even use that to have your video playing, that you are you can have yourself being filmed, and then you could flip to a different angle of camera. I've done that with my husband, and I filmed his spin class. My husband's a spin instructor, and then I was using 2 different devices to film his class, which was pretty cool. We're just having fun with it. The other thing that is cool about Zoom is the Zoom touch-up button. So this is just super fun. Ladies, we don't have to wear foundation on Zoom. You can just go into the Zoom touch-up. So again, you go into your setting, that little setting box here. When you get here, you go into video. And when you get to video, you have this screen that appears, and see touch up my appearance. you check that box. And then, well, that was just a fun little thing to let you know about that. Let's talk about many other ways that you can use Zoom. If you go online into zoom.us and you open your account and you go into your own room, that's when you can go into all these settings. So you would go into my account, and that's where there's so many different settings, and I don't want to go through all of this right now. But what you want to remember is that there's lots of other stuff that you can do, like the polling. You have to allow polling into your settings. So you have to go into this account to set up that pollings will be allowed. You have to create a meeting in advance, and you have to set up the polls inside this meeting in order for this to work. You have to set up your non-verbal reactions as well. So if you wanted, you could have people lift their hand. You could have people say that they want a coffee break. You could have people clap. You could have people, so there's a lot of nonverbal things that people can do. So before we get into the Q&A, because I want to give you a lot of time, I want to tell you about my gift to you today. So I'm giving everybody the Think Yourself a Tech Pro guide. So this is 10 apps that I use, and that 10 apps and shortcuts that I use in my business that are working for me. So you could go download the guide for free. So you go to thinkyourself.com/canfitpro, and you have all the exclusive offers there. So so today we talked a little bit about the basics. So this course is available through CanFitPro right now. So Think Yourself a Tech Pro, the basic is usually $97. And CanFitPro and myself, we've decided that somehow I felt a little weird at the beginning when we started doing these webinars with CanFitPro, thinking, yeah, but fitness professionals don't have a job right now. I feel like I should just give all my stuff for free. And then a lot of my business mentorship clients were telling me that because of what they had learned, they were able to make money during this period. And I thought, you know what? I think I want to pitch in, and that's why I'm giving you a 75% discount, because I believe that if I'm teaching you business and if I'm teaching you how to make money, I cannot be giving stuff for free, because what would that teach you, right? So I want to teach you how you can continue to make money, but I'm offering ridiculous pricing so that it's totally easy for you to get on board and then use these tools for your business. So Think Yourself a Tech Pro, the basics, is going to teach you all the basics. So what we haven't covered today is, what do you do once you've recorded your video on Zoom? Where do you put it? So how to host it either on YouTube or Vimeo, to embed it onto your website. So these are some of the information you get in the basics. There's also the Think Yourself a Business Pro that we did last week. So Think Yourself a Business Pro were the 10 steps to build a successful business. So that course is a $297. And because of the situation we're in right now, and it's going to be until the end of April, these prices, so you'll never see prices like this after. All right, so take advantage of this right now, because this is not coming back. I've never had 75% off deals. So this one is $74.25. I also have my coaching certification. If you want to do what I do have a certification for a fitness professional who wants to become coach and work the mindset instead of working just the body. This certification is also available with French subtitles. Alors, j'ai fait tous les sous-titres en français. La certification n'est pas en anglais. Les vidéos sont encore quand même en anglais, mais on a tous les formulaires. All the forms are going to be translated in French as well, so they're available for you if you prefer to do that in French. So it's $499 instead of $997, and I have tons of other courses. There's also the Think Yourself a Tech Pro part 1, which includes the 10 apps that you will have in your handout described in detail. Think Yourself Healthy, En Santé par la Pensée. Celui-là est complètement en français. Toutes les vidéos sont en français. Think Yourself a Relationship Pro and Think Yourself Successful with Mo Hagan and Successful with Tasha Hughes. So everything is at 75% right now. So let's get into the Q&A. I've got lots of questions from you guys. You were busy all week emailing me these questions. So Zoom, the image cuts every time somebody speaks. It's because you are in speaker view instead of being in gallery view. So you want to be in gallery view when you have a whole bunch of people in your Zoom meeting, so that the person that speaks, there will be a rectangle around their image, but you will see everybody at once. If you are doing a fitness class though, there's a little bit of a delay. So I recommend you go into speaker view, and unfortunately you don't see people that are on at the same time. You only stare at the camera, but at least it doesn't throw you off because there's a little bit of a delay. Now, what you want to do in order for their screen to stop popping up is you have to mute all their microphones. So you can go into your setting, mute everybody's microphone. So it's because when they make noise, their screen comes up. That's called the speaker view. Is the person that's speaking, it's their screen that comes up. So you want to mute all your participants. Something that's really cool that you want to know is, let's say you're muted and you want to say something. Instead of having to go and unmute your microphone, you could just hold the space bar on your keyboard while you speak, and that unmutes you temporarily. And as soon as you let go of the space bar, then you're muted again. So that could be a cool tip. People ask, do the participant have to download the software? Well, they need to download the app. So I recommend you tell your participant, go in 5 minutes early. Now, how do you make the sessions payable? So ideally, you want to have a place on your website where people would register, where you would be set up either with PayPal or Stripe or Square, and they can process the transaction, and everybody that has paid will receive the link with the password. Otherwise, if they haven't paid, it's not a meeting that's open to everybody to just click in. So you need to have purchased in advance. So that's how you could do that. What website platform do I suggest? So I am with WordPress, so I like WordPress because of all the plugins that are available. I know that you can do marvels with other platforms. That's the one I use. I use Thrive Apprentice and Thrive Architect. I've talked about Thrive Quiz. These are all plugins that I can add into my WordPress website, which I like. I use Access Ally for my new online courses as well. These are all plugins that I use on my website. How do you charge clients? I did mention PayPal, Stripe, or Square. Stripe seems to be the norm now. I have all three on the website. People use Stripe when they buy an online course. They could choose between Square and they don't choose between Square and PayPal. They choose between PayPal or credit card. Square and Stripe are just what it allows you to make a transaction. So you go open your account there. And these are connected either through WooCommerce, W-O-O, WooCommerce, or through Access Ally to do the transaction. Later, and Zapier question. A lot of people were asking me about my platform to post on social media. So I use later.com, L-A-T-E-R. And what that does is it allows me to post on multiple platforms at once and have my calendar in front of me, and I can prepare all my posts in advance, and they can go to Instagram and to Facebook. Now, the only thing is it doesn't post on LinkedIn yet. But what I do for LinkedIn is whenever a post appears on my Facebook business page, I use Zapier, which will zap that same post onto my LinkedIn. So everything is automated. How do I use a green screen? So I did talk about that in depth today. Should you use Zoom webinar or Zoom meeting? So with Zoom webinar, you can have a lot more people. With my Zoom meeting account, I can only have up to 100 people. With Zoom webinar, you can have a lot more attendees, and you can be with Zoom webinar, it's different. It's not, what's the difference? A webinar is what you're on right now. I cannot see you. I'm a panelist, so you can see my image, but I cannot see any of you. While a Zoom meeting, you can see everybody. You could mute them, you can move their images, but you can see everybody. What is the best time to post on social media? The best engagement? It depends on your target. So if you are addressing moms, well, don't post at 7:30 a.m. They're busy doing breakfast and bringing the kids to school. So post around 9:30 or 10 when they are back home. So try to figure out when are they online. What I like with later is that it tells me, there's a little on my calendar, there's a little pink area for each day of when is the best time to post. Because when I signed up for my account, I told my account later what was my target audience. And with my answer to the questions, it is now showing me what are the best times to post. The follow-up email series, because I did teach you on the webinar last week, my legacy follow-up series, that when you get an email, you first start, remember when I was talking about you don't propose to somebody the first day that you meet them, you don't drop on your knee and offer them a ring because you don't even know the person, right? So you meet somebody in a coffee shop, they start slowly noticing you, and then once they have noticed you, then they have interest in you. They have slowly a desire to spend more time with you, and then eventually they'll have a transaction with you. So I have a whole legacy follow-up series of emails, and the question was, how many layers should it have? Mine had 7 different layers. And is 4 or 5 fine? Yes, absolutely. I have some of my funnels that only have 3 emails. Like an introductory funnel would be when somebody sign up with you, you could send 1 email that says, welcome, I'm glad that you just downloaded this thing. And then another email a few days later that would say, hey, because you're part of my Academy, I'm sending you this free content, blah, blah, blah. And then another type of funnel could be 4 layers. And ideally, you want to use software like I use Keep from Infusionsoft, that you could create these legacy follow-up series, I think in MailChimp and in Aweber as well. But what I like is that, let's say that I send an offer for a book for $1. The day after, I can send a reminder to say, hey, it's still time to buy the book for $1. But if you have purchased the book, you don't want to receive the email that says, hey, it's still time to buy the book. You're like, well, I know, I bought it yesterday, don't remind me. So with these campaigns, what happens in Keep is that once people have purchased, they go into a different route. And once people if they have not even opened my email, then I can resend the email to say, hey, I have a book for sale. If they've opened it and ignore it, I'm not going to try to sell them a bigger product. I'm going to stick with selling them a book. They didn't even take my $1 offer. They're not going to take my $800 offer. But if they did, then I can then send them into a $29 offer later on. So there's ways to go, if this, then that, like if they respond a certain way. And we have lots of questions about personalized and personalized periodization. So somebody asked a whole bunch of questions about how do we make personal training more accessible, and a suggested workflow on application to use so that people will go into their to streamline the onboarding process. So I would suggest that if you do that online, you could have a quiz. I use Thrive Quiz. That's a great plugin. And then people could fill out a first quiz, and then you would find out maybe profile A, profile B, or profile C. So profile A, the person has never exercised before. Profile B, they used to, but they had kids and now they're just, or they had an injury and they're just starting to exercise again. And then the last profile could be hardcore. If they're hardcore, then you direct them to this. And programs like Keep, Thrive Architect, Thrive Quiz, you could use to do your quiz and have the automated response as well. So when you want to automate things, because and as part of these questions was which action removes the need to make potentially hundreds of thousands of actions, then you could have like my website in Access Ally, it observes the behavior of people doing the course, and I could set up some emails that would be sent automatically after the third video and say, hey, good job, you just finished the third video, so keep going. So you could do the same thing when people have, so that they receive a, you know, the high five or the digital pat in the back to say, hey, how are you doing? Hey, it's been 2 weeks on this same video. You need to up your weight now. Like you could set up all these in advance. Now, lots of questions on what to charge for online classes. Now, there is a need for this right now. And there was a way that was phrased very well that I've witnessed, was to set up your price, decide how you want to charge, if it's $5, $10 for your class, depending on how many people you expect and how much you were used to charge before. Or if it's a one-on-one with somebody that you'll be able to see them and correct them, or if it's just a recording or whatever it is. So there's different pricing that you might want to address. Now, a way that you can do, and I thought it was very well phrased, and I will borrow this, is I don't know what kind of situation you're in right now. Here's the PayPal link. It is $5. Click here to pay. And if you're worried right now about not being able to pay your mortgage and you don't know if you're going to have enough money to feed your kids next week because you got laid off your job, then just exercise. You don't have to pay. So it was kind of a nice way of phrasing it. Here's the price. Here's how to pay. And you know what? If you really can't afford it right now, I get it. Just exercise and just enjoy. So I do in my online coaching certification, where I give you all the forms and all the how to build your coaching business, how I went from making $50 an hour as a personal trainer into making $250 an hour as a coach. I give you all the forms and everything that I do and how I priced myself. So there were some questions on how do I charge for contracts. So should I charge different amounts for each session depending on a contract? Should I charge less if it's for 6 months or if it's for 12 months? So what you want to do is always go to your minimum number of dollar that you are willing to work for. So let's say you're like, I'm not going to work for less than $25 an hour. Then you set up that price to be your huge, humongous package. If people sign up with you for 2 years, that's when they get this price. Because otherwise, if you start, let's say at $50 an hour and people buy 2 or 4 sessions, then, well, they're going to pay $40 an hour then. But if they sign up for 3 months, then they'll pay $30. And if they sign up for 6 months, then they'll pay $20. And if they sign up for a year, then they'll pay $10. And all of a sudden you're working for $10 an hour. Are you kidding me, right? So you want to start with your lowest price that you're willing to work, and you take your worst number ever, and this is the biggest package. If people commit to work with you for that long, that's what they should pay. And you want to discourage them for buying your one-time offer. So if you want to work with me, it's $250 an hour. You can buy 4 sessions for $800. So most people, everybody buys the $800 package because, one, I don't really allow people to buy 1 session with me. Like, same with you guys. What is it going to do that you train somebody for 1 session? Are they going to get toned in 1 session? Like, it takes a little time. So you want to discourage people from buying one thing with you. You want them to make it a package. There was questions about how to make an online program for seniors who doesn't know how to exercise. So you really want to be careful with that and make sure that you have to be very, very precise with your directions if they're online. You might not want to sell a pre-recorded video where you cannot see them. So you want to make sure that you can see your online participants that are maybe fragile or that are injured. If I make video clips for my client, how much should I charge for it? It requires more time to make it, so should I charge a lot more? So in my case, it's different. It takes a lot of time to prepare, but once you have it, you don't have to work again and again and again. So some videos that I've done, I've recorded 3 years ago, some online courses, people are still purchasing them. And while I was, because I have to tell you one thing, is I'm 45 now, and that Freedom 45 that I set up 4 years ago, it worked because I'm just back from Palm Desert, where I had rented a house with my husband for 2 months. And while I was sitting by the pool in Palm Desert, I was looking at my phone once in a while. You've just received an order for $197. You've just received an order for $75. You've just received an order for $24. So you work once. And then once it's recorded, just people buy it over and over and over again. So it's an investment. So I'm not saying I charge $250 an hour, but if it took me 6 hours to do that, well, you know, I'm not going to charge $2,000 for the video because it took me 6 hours. It took me 6 hours because I had no clue what I was doing, because I didn't go on a webinar like this, and I didn't have the online products that you have access to, that now you can buy these online courses and figure out right away how to do it quickly. But what I'm saying is, I don't think you should charge more because it's online. That's just my take on it. In the speaking world, my keynote is $7,500. So if somebody wants me to come and do a keynote for their event, they pay me $7,500. When I do the webinar instead, and I would train their staff, it's almost half price that I charge for. It's not less preparation. It's just that if they don't get the live experience, it's a little bit different. And I do value my time, that I don't have to take an aircraft. I don't have to be gone for 3 days away from my husband. I don't have to pack and carry my heavy books on my suitcase. So I do value that if I'm doing an event in San Diego and I have to be gone for 3 days and it's just a 2-hour conference, well, if I just do it from my home, it's taking me the prep time, yes, but I don't have to be gone for 3 days. So I do charge less. Should I charge different amount for each? Oh yeah, we did that. Should I check my online client regularly? And if so, how do I charge for the sessions if I check in with them? So you might want to decide in advance with a package on, if you post stuff online, that you will have regular check-in, and you will have a schedule that every Tuesday you might have a Facebook group where people will post their questions. And I had a virtual coffee this week with somebody asking me a whole bunch of questions, and he's very smart, because he said, everybody is sending me these private emails, and a lot of them are high fives and kudo and all, they love it, and he's figured it out. So he's got like over 100 people watching his online videos right now, so which is great. Now the thing is, he said, I prefer to send them to my Facebook group to post their comments, because now everybody will see that I'm awesome, because everybody's saying, oh, you're so amazing, you're so great, thank you so much, we love you. And he said, if they send it to me personally, then it's not public. So I prefer to send them into a Facebook group so that they can all share, and then and if I respond to one person's question, it might answer to a lot of other people question at the same time. We have time for one more. How can you conduct initial assessment for your online clients? Oh, we talked about that regarding the Thrive Quiz that you could use. There's lots of different apps that you can use for quiz. Now, I'm not sure if we have any more questions on your end. Did we send the last polls? How to?
Yes. The last polls have been working, and my apologies that they didn't work the first few times. So thank you very much, everybody, for your patience there. But the other polls seem to have worked. So there was an overwhelming response that everyone would like to see you again on a webinar, Nathalie.
Yay!
Not surprised.
Thank you.
Just a couple more questions. I think we have like 1 or 2 minutes left. A lot of people are asking specific questions around which products they should buy of yours, you know, and I'm wondering perhaps you're offering a virtual coffee with folks as well if they do want to have, you know, a chat with you, and perhaps that's a better way to guide them to which specific course or program would be best.
Absolutely.
How do they go about booking that with you again?
So you go to thankyourself.com/schedule. So thankyourself.com/schedule, and then you will choose your 15-minute time slot, and we'll have virtual coffee together. So I can just review what we've done today. So what are the courses? So Thank Yourself a Tech Pro, there's 2 of them. The basics is 6 videos, and it will show you really the basics of what we are, what we've covered, a little bit of what we've covered today, but more of a slow, maybe at a slower pace, and including how to embed these videos on your website after. The Think Yourself a Business Pro is the 10 steps to build a successful business, how to transform social media fans into paying clients, how to create content, how to create your elevator pitch, your promise statement, your tagline, how to find your niche. There's so many more information. The Think Yourself a Business Pro. The Think Yourself a Coach is a full coaching certification. So this will take you between 16 to 20 hours. Some of you have time right now, just happen to have an open calendar. So it could be a good timing to get certified. Because it's a certification, there is an exam. There's 2 exams, a written exam and an exam with me live, so that you would coach a client and I will observe so that I can put my stamp on you and certified you as a Think Yourself Academy coach. The other courses, Think Yourself a Relationship Pro, I absolutely recommend if you want to know how to talk to your client with their language, because very often we don't know how to address specific things. It will make you be able to collaborate better because people are human, and you want to be able to figure out how your client responds. And 60% of the population is a supporter, and yet we are trying to change the workout every single week. But what you need to know about supporters, they don't like change. They hate it. If you have a client that's a leader, that's only 10% of the population, that client, you want to change their stuff every single week because they want the latest and the greatest. If you're coaching a client that is an influencer, the influencer is just there to have fun. And then while they're doing a bicep curl, they stop and they start chatting, and you're like, keep going, keep going. Don't do that with an influencer. You want to chat, you want to high five, you want to spend half of their session chatting and talking with everybody else. That's why they're there. They're there for the fun, and they're the life of the party. So you learn exactly about all the types of personality in that course and how to interact with them, how to sell to them. It's really, that's when people continue to sign up with you. En Santé par la Pensée is 27 tips. So Think Yourself Healthy, 27 tips on how to live a vibrant life, how to reprogram your brain, because most people eat well, they exercise, but they still can't lose the last 10 pounds. So it's about the mindset around that. Think Yourself Successful is a course to go through the Think Yourself Successful #1 best-selling book. So you have over 22 videos with Tasha Hughes, Mohagan, and myself working you through the whole system to Think Yourself Successful. So these were all the courses.
Thank you so much, Nathalie. Thank you everyone for coming today. Just a reminder that we will have the video replay of this webinar uploaded to YouTube shortly this afternoon, and you can go to canfitpro.com, click onto your member portal login, and then go to Get Education. That's where you're going to see CEC quizzes that are available, including the CEC quiz for this webinar, as well as Nathalie's webinar from last week. So thank you again, everyone. Be safe, be healthy, and thank you, Nathalie, for sharing all this amazing information with us today.
Thank you, everyone. And remember to go download your free the free guide for today. So you go to thinkyourself.com/canfitpro, and then you can download that for free.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.